I would say it depends on the policy, right? For example, there are different levels of the bullying, like we've looked at. There's physical, there's even verbal as well. So if another student tells another student, maybe uses an insultive word, are you going to expel that student? So that's the question.
But those things actually have like a long-term effect when you talk about the emotional, bullying. Because
yes.
You use certain words and then the person goes back and begins to think. It actually has like a long-term effect on the person's self-worth or even confidence generally.
Oh yes. No, so I actually agree with you. I agree with the fact that yes, there are measures that need to be taken. But I said it's important also to clearly define what consequence for what action. Yes. So in the case of verbal abuse, in the case of verbal abuse or maybe a physical abuse also, suspension is good. But for me, physical, you can consider expulsion really, because that's going the extra mile. For example, like the case of the Bowen student that I mentioned about, that I talked about, the Sylvester, basically that was physical, and that shouldn't be condoned at all. No school should actually condone that. Yeah, but for verbal, yes, you can actually take such measures where you are suspending the student. Yeah, but before the suspension, it's also important to communicate, because remember we've talked about the perpetrator and the victim. So the perpetrator could be acting in certain ways, maybe out of not being able to manage his anger. So you also want to help that student and not just leave him like that. So you want to, as a counselor, the counselor can actually help that student even before they suspend him. They're able to also help him to manage his emotion, and then you understand that there's also consequence and he doesn't get away with such action.